So I talked to you in the last 3 videos about my experience in Colombia, going homeless, being homeless. It was the rock bottom that taught me that I couldn't live a life spoiled anymore. And this episode, I'm going to talk about how to get yourself out of a spoiled mindset if you're in a spoiled mindset. I'm going to talk to you about my childhood and why I grew up spoiled and I had a spoiled mindset until I was in my mid-20s. So when I was a kid, every single time I had a tantrum, I had something I wanted, my mom was pretty good at not giving in. My dad, on the other hand, he gave me everything I wanted. He at the time had money. He worked as an international marketing agent for Hershey's, and then he later became the vice president of marketing in Jelly Belly. And he had a lot of money. He was making, he told me he was making $300,000 a year, which is pretty good. So he would buy me everything I wanted. If I wanted it and I yelled loud enough, he would buy me it. And then he and my mom divorced. It was a horrible divorce, and he lost his job, and he never got himself off his feet financially after that. He actually takes money from my grandfather, from his father, and that's how he pays the bills. And he actually lives in my grandfather's house. Honestly, it's not something I look up to. It's not something I respect. He doesn't make his own money even to this day. And man, I have empathy for him. I understand how hard it was for what happened to him, but he hasn't picked himself up off his feet, and it's been hard to watch. So, but what was I going to say? But even when he wasn't making, let me remove these things because it's not working out. It should not be that loud. Sorry. There's a thing going on here. It shouldn't be this loud. This hard drive, it's just like way too loud. So even when he wasn't financially fine, he would put himself deeper into debt just to buy me what I thought I wanted, what I would yell for. If I yelled enough for it, he would buy me it. I don't know exactly what was going on. I think he felt apologetic for his part in the divorce. And he felt it was his job to make up for it by buying me things. And then on top of that, there was a moment when I was a kid. I had a paperboy job, my first job. I was like 12. And I got this paperboy job. I had to wake up at 6, get the papers, and deliver them on my bicycle. And I remember one day I just didn't want to do it. And my dad was like, "Why didn't you do it?" And I'm like, "Well, I just didn't want to." And he was like, "Okay, like I'll just do it for you then." And he woke up the next day at 6 a.m. and he went and got the papers, and he drove around in his car and delivered them, and he gave me the money. And it was just like, that was the way I was raised. Like, I didn't have to do anything. I just sat back, did nothing, and the money would just flow in, and I didn't have to be of any use to anybody. I didn't have to up my skills. I just had to sit back, relax, and everything I wanted would just be given to me. And when I grew up, I took that mentality into my relationships with other people, because that's what I knew. I was like, if a friend wasn't giving me what I wanted, I would just put my feet in the sand until they gave in, or until they stopped being friends with me. And often I would only attract people that really hated themselves, because that's how I treated people. I didn't know anything else. I grew up not giving my all to any job at all. Like, I would just be I mean, granted, a lot of the, I think to an extent it was a good thing, because I don't take shit from jobs. Like, if a job doesn't treat me right, then I won't stay there for long at all. I will give my all to a job that appreciates me, even if like I have to put effort in and it's difficult. But if a job doesn't like treat me as a person, like, I don't stay there long. So there were some good things that came out of this upbringing, that I just don't take shit from people, because I don't feel I deserve it. But it really hurt me, because I wasn't able to put any work in towards my goals. I would just sit back, do nothing, and then expect the money to come. And when it came to like goals, I wouldn't put effort into my passions. I would just do them haphazardly and expect them to take off and everything to be amazing, because that's what would happen in my childhood. I would do nothing and then my dad would give me everything I wanted. But I had to hit the rock bottom of being in Colombia to realize that, and to being homeless to realize that, hey, there are consequences if you don't have this backup. Because at that point I had dropped out of college, and my parents stopped supporting me, including my dad. And so he needed, honestly, I'm so grateful he did that, because if he didn't do that, I would have grown till I died just expecting him to give me everything. And so people don't realize that, like, yes, I guess to an extent, like, it's really good to have your parents give you things, because I know people who are poorer in life, who have poorer parents, they wish that their parents would be able to supply more for them. But there's a dark side to it too, is if your parents supply too much and they don't teach you responsibility, then you get to where I was, where I just expected everybody to give everything for me. I wasn't able to have friends. Like, I remember there were a couple of friends that I completely pushed away because I got angry at them for not giving me money. It was like really fucked up. It was really fucked up. Now, thankfully, the friends that I have now, I'm in a place where I can support a good friendship, and they tell me I'm a good friend. They like my friendships, because I learned after this time in Colombia only a few years ago that I can't treat people like I was treating people. But man, it was difficult. It was really difficult. Having to push myself, realizing that I was super spoiled, and having to push myself out of that mentality, out of that mindset, and into a place where I felt like I could earn my keep. So I want to share how you can get out of that mindset. And if you don't have anyone to teach you responsibility, you need people to teach you responsibility. And the first step is to stop taking handouts. If you still have people in your life giving you handouts, like my father was giving me, whether it's your mom, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your dad, your grandparents, stop taking handouts. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a 0 to 100 thing. You could be like, hey, give me only this much. Or if they will still give you the amount that they give you, take that money and then put half of it invest in Bitcoin or something that you never touch. Just put half of it away. And that way you have to make that much, right? And if they won't stop giving you that money, just put it away in Bitcoin, never touch it, right? Make yourself a rule that you will never touch it ever. And then that way you have half of your expenses that you have to make for yourself. You have to make that for yourself. And if you don't make that for yourself, then you're going to have to starve. Or you're going to have to find a way, or you're going to have to take out a loan in your name, which is still responsibility because that's in your name and your credit. So find a way to pay at least some of your expenses, and then over time grow that to paying all of your expenses. Right now I pay all of my expenses, and that's where I am. I pay all my expenses. I don't take a cent from my dad. He did give me a gift, but he actually wanted to give me money. I'm like, don't give me money. He's like, well, can I help you with your photography business? And I'm like, well, I'm about to buy a backup drive. So if you buy me a backup drive, I'd be grateful, but I'm not expecting it. And he just bought me the backup drive. So but I still didn't take any money from him this year. So stop taking money. And if you can't completely stop taking money, then put half of it away and then make that up. And then I would say get some kind of hobby or make a goal for yourself. And every single day work towards that goal. Show yourself that you're capable. Because one of the things that me being spoiled took away from me was my sense of capability. I didn't feel like I was capable at all. I felt like I was completely incapable, because what I was shown, what one of the side effects of my dad giving me everything was I didn't feel like I was capable of making money. And so I showed myself I was by getting, retail jobs, like sucky jobs, or doing Uber. And that showed me that, hey, I can make money. I can pay my bills. And over time, I built confidence in myself for that. It's scary at first, but it's necessary. And the benefit of feeling secure in your skin, feeling like you don't have to rely on somebody else, because your father or whoever's going to give you that money, they're giving you that money right now, they're going to die. Or maybe they might change their mind. You're dependent on them right now. If they left, you wouldn't know what to do. So become self-reliant. Learn, and you feel so good about yourself when you pay your own bills. I feel so accomplished. I feel so secure in myself. It's hard. It's difficult at this point. At some point it won't be, because there's some changes I'm making in my life that will make it easier. But it gets to a point where you feel so confident in yourself, even if it's difficult to make money. So go ahead, take responsibility for your finances, get out of that mindset of being spoiled, and I guarantee you, you will thank yourself for it. You'll feel much more safe and secure, and you'll respect yourself a lot more. The next episode, I'm going to talk about the good parts of Colombia, the things I'm grateful for, because it was freaking awesome. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't, and until next time.